Hi, everybody. How are you today? Yes, we're still in the race. It's the Boston Red Sox. Some sad news has hit the airwaves in the last 24 hours, and that is the passing of former Secretary of State and four-star General Colin Powell. I often thought about him, especially after he spoke to the United Nations about the weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist. Heard one of his colleagues speak about that, and the gentleman said, he will be ridiculed about this, even in the grave. What people don't realize is that we were able to take out 95% of what came to us as the text for the presentation. 95% of that was just clearly wrong and inflammatory and would have exacerbated everything and made it so much worse. But sadly, we couldn't get at the other 5%. And he went on to talk about how General Powell had felt very used and betrayed by that 5%, by his orders to present this to the United Nations. But more than that, I've admired the man as a warrior who, like most studied warriors, hated war and would just study and want to be the best at it. If we're going to go to war, we're going to go to war. We're going to do it big. We're going to win, and then we're getting out. That's part of the Powell Doctrine that you'll hear about. But he also circulated frequently lessons on leadership, how to be a leader. There were 13 items. And I want to share those with you today because they've always been important to me. And they can be used no matter where you are leading. It does not have to be in the military. It could be a family, could be a business, could be your youth group at church, could be a church. Wherever you find yourself a leader, he has these 13 points that I thought I'd share with you today. 1, it ain't as bad as you think. It will look better in the morning. Isn't that true? There's a silver lining in every cloud, he says. You just have to find it. That's not always as easy as it sounds. Things might look bad today, but if you've put in the effort, tomorrow will be a brighter day. It's a state of mind. Believe it, and you will make it happen. Number 2, get mad, then get over it. Boy, I know a lot of people, I'm sure you do too, hang on to the anger when they don't need to anymore. People always remember the leader with a bad temper and never in a good way. 3, avoid having your ego so close to your position that when your position falls, your ego goes with it. In other words, he says people who think that their way is the only way tend to experience a lot of disappointment. Things aren't always going to go your way. That's just a fact of life. Be humble enough to accept that fact. 4, it can be done. Just about anything can be accomplished if you set your mind to it, have the necessary resources, and the time to get it done. Don't succumb to the skeptics. I feel that way about South Church and their Acts of Faith model of ministry. 5, be careful what you choose. I've been preaching lately on kind of the choices we make in our faith. It says, don't rush into a bad decision. Take the time to consider your options, weigh the relevant facts, and make reasoned assumptions. Once you pull the trigger, there are no do-overs. So make it count. Be careful what you choose. 6, don't let adverse facts stand in the way of a good decision. He was fond of connecting good leadership to good instincts. Be a leader who hones judgment and instinct. 7, you can't make someone else's choices. Never allow someone else to make your decisions for you. Ultimately, you are responsible for your own decisions. Don't duck that responsibility. 8, check the small things. Success is built on a lot of seemingly minor details. Having a feel for those little things is essential. I heard one of his aides today speaking about how every morning he would get on the phone and check in with different people. He called it checking the traps. And, like a good trapper, he was out there looking every day to make sure everything was the way it should be. And that way there were no surprises. 9, share the credit. Oh, I totally believe that. I think it comes from being a music teacher and learning early on that when people say, oh, that was so beautiful, the kids were great, weren't they? Share the credit. Success relies on the efforts of the entire team, not just the leader. 10, remain calm. Be kind. Keep calm and carry on. Kill them with kindness. Yeah, that was something I grew up with. 11, have a vision. Be demanding. Followers need things from the leaders, a purpose and a firm set of standards. When you see leaders fail, it's almost always for one of those two things lacking. They either lead their followers in a failing pursuit of nothing, or they just don't set and enforce the example for their people. So have a vision, be demanding. But, number 12, don't take a counsel of your fears or naysayers. Fear can be a powerful motivator, but it can also paralyze a leader at the worst possible time. Learn to understand your fears and channel them in ways that you can control them rather than allowing them to control you. And the last one, I've always loved. It is perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Optimism is infectious. I always say nothing breeds success like success. Once you're successful at something, the rest will follow. Colin Powell. Truly a man for all seasons, a scholar, a warrior, a religious man. I know some people are going to be saying, well, yeah, see, he got the vaccine and he still died. Yes, he did. No vaccine is 100%. Let me just point out, he was in his mid-80s. He was severely immunocompromised from several bouts with cancer. And no vaccine will be 100%. I'm sorry it took his life. On the other hand, there are gifts to come out of his life that maybe we are all needing to hear right now. So I offer up a prayer for his family especially, and those who worked alongside him and who considered him family. And for this nation, that we might recognize what a great man he was. Hope this all gives you something to think about during the day. These ideas about leadership. What's your leadership style? How do you do it? Don't tell me you're not leading anything right now. Of course you are. Just with your smile and your personality, just with your friends that you interact, where you have interactions, you're leading. I invite you, if you are interested in those, just to Google Colin Powell leadership, and you'll find the 13 things that I just read. Until then, until next time, thank you for joining us for this prayerful pause with the pastor, a time to think of something greater than ourselves. In this case, leadership. I'm Pastor Deb Swift with South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, God bless, take care, and bye for now.